Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, that sounded southern.
Good afternoon. I don't know why I said it like that.
We finally got to sleep in. We've been getting up at like 4 a.m. for the past week, and today we slept till almost 8.
It was very nice.
I might have to move. There might be a car coming. No, the car's not going to hit us. Then I had a cup of coffee for a couple hours. We actually had breakfast, and then we had lunch, which is crazy. And now we are we're already here. We're at the Dubois Museum.
Mm-hmm.
It's right here in town. Currently, we're about the only people here. It's also kind of raining on and off.
Yeah.
It is partially indoors and partially outdoors.
Kind of reminds me of a very mini red oak, if you watched our Missouri Route 66 videos.
Very mini. Mini.
There's an indoor part which tells you about the history of Dubois, and then the outside is like supposed to be like the old looking buildings. It's pretty cheap. I think it was $6
a person.
Just something interesting to do to kill like an hour or so.
Yeah,
in the area.
We actually really like these small town museums because you don't know about this stuff here until you learn from the locals, and that's the best way to do it.
The first occupants of the mountains and valleys surrounding what is now Dubois were members of the Dakota tribe, also known as sheep eaters, a group of the mountain Shoshone who included the Wind River area in their regular annual migration from the Great Plains through the mountains of the Yellowstone and beyond. As their translated tribe name infers, they commonly hunted the bighorn sheep that also called this area home. They famously innovated a bow made from the horns of a bighorn ram.
White settlers started homesteading in the area in the 1870s, and by 1889 the Dubois post office had opened. The same year the post office opened, the town got their first general store, Welty's. A few years later, in 1898, Welty's moved down the road a few miles, where they still have their business to this very day. Word around town was a Scandinavian timber company might be opening up soon, and those workers needed a place to spend their paychecks, so in 1913, a hotel, a bank, and a bar were built. The following year, the Wind River Timber Company was founded, and the town continued to grow from there. We'll talk much more about the timber company later in the video.
The museum also had a really fun interactive exhibit to explain how topography works. There is a projector above a sandbox, and as you move the sand around, it updates the colors and topographic lines in your creation. We'll be honest, since we were the only ones here, we spent a little bit too much time playing in the sandbox.
Our favorite section of the museum was the incredible amount of different animal species, and also their poop that you're currently staring at, that call these mountains and valleys their home. While there are way too many animals to mention them all, the Wind River area holds both black and grizzly bears, mountain lions, bobcats and lynx, bighorn sheep, as mentioned earlier, deer and pronghorn, moose, elk, and so many types of birds and fish too.
Right out front of the museum is their outdoor village. First, we visited the Dubois High School that was opened in 1925. The building itself was the recycled lumber from the Tinkle Schoolhouse originally located just right up the river. Because the area was so rural and so mountainous, multiple schools had to be opened in the immediate area. Teachers found that unless school was only a few miles walk, the students wouldn't be able to make it in the rough winters, or it would take too much time from their farm chores during the warm season, and they wouldn't commit to coming.
There was also a saddle shop that showed off dozens of different types of saddles and the tools required to make them. With the amount of ranchers in this area, horses were the main mode of transportation in the area for much longer than the eastern side of the country. Next, we found ourselves in the Forest Service cabin that was brought down from the mountains only a few miles from here. In such a densely forested area of the world, the Forest Service workers served a vital role in how this area was maintained. It was the Forest Service that would mark the trees for the timber company to be harvested and cut into railroad ties.
Right next door was a homestead cabin set up showing what daily life on the range was like in the 1900s after some modern conveniences made life a little bit easier. One of the craziest things here was a butter churn from the Rocking Chair Ranch that was used by Jeannie Hawley. She churned 16 pounds of butter twice a week for 40 years, making nearly 30 tons of butter in her life at the ranch. Also, everywhere we seem to go together seems to have nothing but absolutely terrifying, creepy dolls.
Finally, we came to the tie hat gallery at the museum. If you're anything like us, you had no idea if a tie hack was a piece of equipment, a person, or a fashion statement. A tie hack was a logger who made railroad cross ties by hacking them into shape with an axe. In 1913, C and N.W. Railroad Company had a contract for 500,000 railroad ties to be delivered yearly. In the late fall of 1913, almost 24 men climbed into wagons and headed to Lava Creek nearby Dubois to start construction for a logging base camp. In February of 1914, the first tie was hewn. The logs came down the mountain in a 5-mile-long log flume, basically a man-made elevated creek that had constant flowing water to move them. If you've ever been on a log flume ride in a theme park, you know exactly how the logs felt. Eventually the logs made it to the Wind River, where they were floated down to Riverton and cut into ties.
Something interesting that we learned while we were here was that for decades, forest rangers would hammer a small nail into the trees that were to be cut down with the letters US stamped into them. However, once loggers started using chainsaws instead of axes, they had to switch to orange paint so the nails wouldn't damage the saw blade. We wonder how many saw blades they went through before they finally decided to switch. This was a super interesting part of the museum, and we learned so much. We got to see so many different examples of the different tools the tie hacks used, and also a pair of homemade skis. On our way out, we noticed that the bench we had been awkwardly walking around the entire time was actually an example of a tie that had been hand-hewn by a local a very long time ago.
We have left the Dubois Museum, and we've headed just down the road to stop to see what is apparently the world's largest jackalope exhibit.
If you don't,
I know. That's exciting, I know.
if you're not familiar with the jackalope, it is a jackrabbit that has antlers. But they're real. They're not mythical at all. They're actual animals. A lot of people think they're fake, but no, they exist. Sorry, I got sand in my eye from that sand exhibit in the museum. So you'll probably see me doing this for the rest of the day.
I have no idea what this exhibit, it could be a picture of a jackalope. It's free, it's on the side of a gas station, and we saw it the other day, and I just wanted to stop in and see what it was about.
They also advertise that they have more than 1,200 shirts for sale.
So if you want a shirt, apparently this is your place.
Let's go see this jackalope.
We found it. The wild jackalope. Just kidding. That was the tiny jackalope. This is the big kahuna.
Yes, you can hop on me. Babe, please get on the jackalope. Holy cow. You climbing up? You got it. Just toss your leg over. I'll help you off.
It's very tall.
You don't have to. She's chickening out.
You get on it.
Like a natural.
How is it up there?
It's a little tall. Boy. We just left the Jackalope Exhibit, and they got us. We bought a Jackalope sticker, a cup of coffee, because why not, a soda, and then
Jackalope Tracks ice cream.
they got us.
We don't know what kind of ice cream this is, but it looks vanilla and caramel-y.
I'm gonna guess it's Moose Tracks, just renamed.
Probably.
Yeah, come by, it's free. Interesting store. They had a little bit of everything.
And they did, in fact, probably have, let's almost drop the ice cream, 1,200 plus t-shirts in there.
A ton. Like, it was kind of tempting to get a couple. They had really funny ones.
It was a really cute little, like...
Speaking of really cute, I'm gonna interrupt Candace. Look at these puppies. Hi, puppies. I think you're a greyhound. Puppy, oh. Sorry, back to track now.
But it's a really cute, kind of quirky little general store.
Yeah.
Attached to the Jackalope Exhibit. So yeah, key place to stop by. Had pretty much everything you could want in there.
Yeah.
I don't know what else we're doing today besides driving around, hoping to see some cool animals later. But if we do anything besides that, I guess you'll see us again.
Yep. That's the plan, Stan.
A few hours later, we took a drive down Torrey Lake Road. This National Forest road was just a few minutes from our Airbnb, and we had heard from a few locals that there was often a good selection of wildlife. Unfortunately for us, we didn't see anything out of the ordinary, just some elk, so we didn't end up filming anything. We still enjoyed the beautiful drive towards Torrey Lake and captured some incredible photographs along the way. We hope you enjoyed this week's video, and as always, we'll see y'all somewhere.
Thanks for watching Riley Roams. To keep up with our content, please subscribe to our channel, and if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. That helps us a lot.